Something doesn't feel right about Martell Holt's crash, and now, fans are convinced he agrees. Rumors are flying that Martell had started speaking out from his hospital bed, and the name he keeps bringing up, Marsau Scott. It all started with a violent SUV crash on a clear, quiet road, but now, that wreck looks more like a setup than an accident. And as more details emerge, it seems like someone's very close to Martell may know more than they're letting on. Letitia Scott has already made her suspicions public, but it's Martell's reaction that's turning heads. People say he's trying to warn everyone. Nurses have reportedly overheard him muttering strange phrases. Friends and insiders say he was growing paranoid before the crash, worried that something bad was about to happen. While some say it was just stress, others are starting to think it was a cry for help. Martell might not be able to speak clearly yet, but the details that are coming out suggest he was scared of someone he once trusted. It's the kind of story that grabs attention because it's no longer just about a car accident. It's about betrayal, possible revenge, and a past that may have finally caught up with Martell. Fans are connecting the dots, going back through old episodes, interviews, and even social media posts. Every glance, every disagreement, every tension between Martell and Marsau is now being rewatched under a new light. So the question is, did Marsau Scott really have something to do with this? Or is Martell just the victim of a tragic coincidence? Let's break it all down. Martell Holt hasn't made any official statements. He can't. After the crash, he was placed in a medically induced coma to help his body heal. Even now, doctors say his speech is limited and comes in short, quiet moments. But people close to him say those brief moments have been filled with anxiety, especially when Marsau's name comes up. One nurse allegedly heard him mumbling, "They set me up," during a restless night. To most people, that might sound like nothing more than a bad dream. But for fans who know the history between Martell and Marsau, it feels like something deeper. Some cast insiders claim Martell had receipts he was planning to share, text messages, voice notes, and personal exchanges with Marsau that were never meant to go public. There's talk that Martell had grown tired of keeping secrets and wanted to expose everything. People in their circle believe he was gearing up for a major reveal that could have changed everything. But before that could happen, he ended up in a hospital bed. One insider even suggested that Martell had a confrontation planned. He was reportedly telling close friends, "It's time people know the truth." But instead of that truth coming out, Martell ended up silenced. Fans believe that if these messages really exist, they may have been the reason someone felt threatened enough to act. There's no solid proof, yet, but the gossip continues to build online. Viewers are speculating non-stop, and the theory that Martell was targeted isn't going away. The crash happened in broad daylight on a quiet, dry stretch of road outside of Huntsville, Alabama. Martell Holt was driving his SUV down a straight highway. No rain, no fog, no other cars immediately in front of him. It should have been an easy, safe drive. But something went horribly wrong. His vehicle suddenly slammed into a concrete barrier at high speed. The impact was so strong, the SUV flipped and landed upside down. Debris scattered everywhere. Pieces of glass, metal, and his bumper flew nearly 30 feet from the scene. When emergency crews arrived, Martell was unconscious. He had a faint pulse and had to be stabilized at the scene before being rushed to the hospital. But the most disturbing part? There were no skid marks, no signs he tried to stop, no swerving. Investigators reviewed the SUV's internal computer system and found nothing unusual. No brake failure, no steering issues. It was as if Martell never even saw the crash coming. The absence of any reaction is what bothers investigators most. Martell wasn't texting. There were no distractions in the car. So if nothing was wrong with the vehicle, and Martell didn't make a mistake, what caused the crash? Some are asking whether the SUV was forced into the barrier, either by fear, pressure, or contact with another vehicle. And if so, that changes the story entirely. It's no longer just a crash, it becomes a question of intent. Letitia Scott, Marsau's wife and a familiar face on Love and Marriage Huntsville, broke her silence just days after Martell's crash. And what she shared stunned fans. She said Martell had confided in her before the accident, telling her that he believed someone was following him. She didn't think much of it at the time, chalking it up to stress. But in hindsight, her comments feel more like a warning. Letitia didn't stop there. She openly questioned the idea that this was a simple crash. She said something didn't sit right with her, and the public started listening. If Martell truly feared for his life, why didn't anyone take him seriously? Was it just paranoia? Or did he sense something no one else did? She even revealed that Martell looked visibly shaken during their last conversation. His behavior had shifted. He was distracted, fidgety, and kept checking his surroundings. Letitia noted that he kept bringing up the same thing. Someone was always behind him, watching. That was the last time she saw him before the crash. Now fans are replaying old interviews and interactions, looking for signs that Martell had been dropping clues all along. Letitia's confession might be the biggest piece of the puzzle so far, and it has completely changed how viewers are looking at this case. Then came the biggest twist of all. While reviewing traffic footage, investigators discovered a black Mercedes G-Wagon following Martell on the day of the crash. It didn't just appear once or twice. It was behind him for miles, at gas stations, intersections, highway ramps. Every single clip showed the same vehicle, always a short distance behind. At first, it looked like a coincidence, but the more footage they reviewed, the more suspicious it seemed. The G-Wagon never passed Martell, never turned off, never got more than 2 car lengths away. Whoever was driving it was making a clear effort to stay hidden, but close. Some online sleuths took it a step further. They used frame-by-frame comparisons from traffic cams and matched body details, wheels, and even tinted window patterns. Many say it looks nearly identical to Marsau Scott's recently purchased G-Wagon. That's when fans began raising alarms. One viral TikTok even pointed out that a similar G-Wagon was seen in a background shot on one of Marsau's old Instagram lives. Now people are asking whether this was the same vehicle, and if so, who was driving it that day? If the match is confirmed, it could be the missing piece investigators need. Things took another turn when a witness came forward. A driver behind Martell that day told police they saw the black G-Wagon speed up and sideswipe Martell's SUV just before it crashed. The impact didn't look violent enough to flip the car, but it clearly pushed Martell off course. Seconds later, he lost control and smashed into the concrete barrier. What happened next raised even more red flags. The G-Wagon didn't stop. It didn't pull over to help. Instead, it blended into traffic and disappeared. No visible license plates, no trace. Investigators called it a hit and run, but others are calling it something much darker. The witness said it happened so fast, but it looked intentional. It wasn't just a bump, the witness told reporters. It was like the driver wanted him off that road. That quote alone sent social media into a frenzy. Some now believe this wasn't a random act, but something carefully planned. The fact that the G-Wagon disappeared so quickly also bothers police. If this was just a traffic accident, why flee? That behavior suggests guilt or fear of getting caught. And when you connect that with the mystery surrounding Marsau's new vehicle, things only look more suspicious. As the G-Wagon mystery deepened, people started digging. Then came the bombshell. Marsau Scott had recently purchased a black G-Wagon with the same model and trim seen in the footage. The timing? Just days before the crash. That discovery sent fans into a frenzy. When police questioned Marsau, he claimed his car never left his garage that day, but investigators aren't taking his word for it. They're reviewing security footage from his property, checking GPS logs, and collecting any evidence that could place his vehicle at the scene. They're also comparing paint samples. If any of the debris from Martell's SUV contains paint that matches Marsau's G-Wagon, it could change everything. Marsau hasn't responded publicly to the rumors or the investigation, and while he stayed out of the spotlight, the questions around him keep growing. Investigators are also looking into Marsau's phone records and surveillance camera footage from local businesses. If even one ping or image places him near the crash site, the entire narrative could shift. Fans want answers, and many believe it's only a matter of time before the truth comes out. This story isn't about what happened, it's about who might be hiding what. Just when things couldn't get more intense, another layer of this mystery unfolded. Sources close to Letitia Scott say she gave a private warning to producers and friends just before the crash happened. According to insiders, Letitia told people that Marsau wasn't acting like himself. He was pacing around, stepping at crew members, and even skipped out on scheduled shoots. She described him as restless, distracted, and consumed with thoughts about Martell. Letitia allegedly said he hadn't been sleeping well. He was irritable and constantly muttering about things that had gone wrong in the past. One source claimed Marsau kept bringing up old arguments and grudges, especially involving Martell. He wasn't just annoyed, he was upset to the point of paranoia. Letitia warned that something bad might happen, but no one knew what she meant at the time. Now, with everything that's come to light, her words feel like a chilling prediction. Fans have even started calling it a missing red flag. If Letitia's instincts were right, then this wasn't just a personal breakdown. It could have been a prelude to something far more dangerous. Her comments are now part of the official investigation, giving her a role in this story that no one expected. As the investigation picked up steam, the network made a shocking move. They shut down production on Love and Marriage Huntsville. Cast schedules were cleared, cameras were packed up, and no one was told when or if filming would resume. For fans, this was the clearest sign yet that something serious had happened behind the scenes. People noticed right away that several cast members, including Letitia and Marsau, completely disappeared from social media. No cryptic tweets, no Instagram stories, not even a post asking for privacy. Their accounts went dark, and the silence only added fuel to the fire. It felt like everyone was trying to avoid saying the wrong thing. Some insiders say the cast is now deeply divided, trust has been broken, and friendships are hanging by a thread. Others reportedly refuse to speak with producers or each other. Meanwhile, fans are combing through past content, trying to figure out how things got this bad. The lack of public statements from the people involved is raising more questions than answers. And at this point, many believe the silence isn't about privacy, it's about fear. As pressure mounted, investigators pushed forward with new tools. They obtained GPS logs from both Martell's SUV and the suspected G-Wagon. What they discovered shocked even the police. The G-Wagon appeared to be following Martell's exact route, minute by minute, from his home to the gas station to the road where the crash occurred. The second vehicle's path almost perfectly mirrored his. Investigators are also analyzing cell tower pings. They're comparing Marsau's known phone data to the G-Wagon's route. If there's a match, it could place Marsau, or someone using this phone, right near the scene of the crash. That would be devastating for Marsau's defense, especially since he claimed the vehicle never left his garage. Additionally, forensic teams are now studying the paint samples from Martell's wrecked SUV. If the paint matches Marsau's car, it could be the final piece of hard evidence. Surveillance footage from local businesses is also under review. Investigators are hoping one of those cameras caught the crash, or at least the license plate of the fleeing vehicle. This isn't just a rumor anymore. With every new piece of data, the case moves closer to a definitive answer. And depending on what the results show, this could turn from suspicion into a criminal investigation. Martell Holt may not be able to speak publicly just yet, but the clues are starting to talk for him. From mysterious surveillance footage to Letitia's eerie warning, this case has turned into something much bigger than anyone expected. What began as a tragic accident is now surrounded by whispers of betrayal, hidden anger, and possible revenge. Letitia's honesty and Martell's alleged whispers from his hospital bed have cast a long shadow over Marsau Scott. Whether he was involved directly or not, the fact that his vehicle is under scrutiny and that he hasn't come forward to deny anything leaves a lot of unanswered questions. The show is paused, the cast is silent, and fans are left piecing the puzzle together themselves. Was this an unfortunate twist of fate, or a well-planned scheme designed to keep Martell quiet? With the investigation still ongoing, we may not know the full truth for a while. But one thing's clear, this story isn't just about a crash anymore. It's about trust, danger, and the secrets people will do anything to protect. The next chapter is coming, and it could expose everything they've tried to hide.